my name's Colette and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. I'm here today to do a reading for the Neptune retrograde, which is just taking place, and the Venus stationing direct energy for the collective today. And I find this really interesting because Venus represents our kind of lower interpretation of love, if you like. It's very much to do with relationships and our values and the way we kind of look at the world, the beauty, that kind of thing. Venus is Aphrodite, so she is the goddess of love. But Neptune is kind of like the higher octave of that energy. So whereas Venus is more about our attraction to somebody or something or what we love in our lives, Neptune is that kind of more compassionate, unconditional love for all, for one and all energy. 12th house energy being boundless and kind of just consciousness, really, kind of just like, you know, the mass consciousness. So I find it really interesting how the two of them have got this kind of connection of one who's just retrograding now, just as the other one stations out of her retrograde. And at some point, as the two of them go in their separate ways, they will square each other as well, which will be interesting. You will have, because Neptune's only going to go back to about 18 degrees or something, not too far from where she is now. She's only moving about 2.5 degrees. But Venus is stationed direct at about 0.5 degrees, and she's going to move forward to about 21 degrees. So during that forward motion, which is the third time that Venus is going to be going over that same spot, and the second time that Neptune is going to be going over her same spot, the two of them will connect in a square energy. So, as I was saying, Venus being the lower kind of root, baser kind of aspect or expression of our love, and Neptune is much more the higher vibration, the higher octave of love. So what I've done today is I've separated all the major arcana cards from the good tarot deck here, because I want to get an overall kind of energy for the read from the major arcanas. So this is the card that I pulled, or this is the card that came out, fell out, pulled itself, and it's the Fool energy in reverse. So it's kind of saying to me that this time we're not really ready to trust our journey. Things have changed massively, and Mars is about to move into Aries on Saturday as well. So there's a lot of movement happening within these kind of 3 days. Neptune only stationed direct 2 days, stationed retrograde 2 days ago on the 23rd. And she's just retrograding now on the 25th. So from the 23rd right up until kind of the 27th, 28th, there's a lot of movement happening in the sky. As I was saying, Mars is also just about to move into his home sign of Aries. So these very last degrees of Pisces before he makes it there are always the hardest, because it's the very, very end of the zodiac. He's been 2 years cycle round this zodiac, and he's getting to that point where he needs to get back home. But it's the hardest point of the zodiac, is the very last degrees of Pisces for any of the planets. So including Neptune, because Neptune will actually be leaving her own home some point in the future. It's not going to happen for a while. So the card, the Fool card here, The Fool is all about trusting our inner instincts, knowing that there is something bigger. So for me, it is kind of the Neptune retrograde energy in some ways, because it is about the higher conscious mind, of our feelings, our emotions, that higher vibration, as I was speaking about. But because it's in reverse, it's like we're not ready. I still feel as though we're not ready to move forward into this new beginning, into this new world, if you like, that is being created. And at the underneath, I don't normally do this, but I've started to kind of do it a bit more. Underneath we have this card, the Justice card here, which interestingly for me, I see this as Gemini energy, not least because it's number 11 and it has the twin number, but also because justice is about the mind. Justice is about kind of logical processes for justice. Justice isn't something that you feel with your heart, because if you do, then you will make the wrong kind of decisions. So I don't see this as the Libra card either, like most readers do. I kind of break with tradition here, because I see Libra being ruled by Venus is much more the card for me of the Lovers, 7th house, relationships. Whereas this energy for me is much more mercurial, much more Gemini, much more kind of weighing things up, which is much more a Gemini trait. Will I, won't I? Do I, don't I? It is also, justice is also about balance and fairness and harmony, and it's also for me about the two sides of things as well. So again, it's like that Gemini energy of right, wrong, the duality really is what I see here. She has the Sword of Truth here as well, so it is very much about kind of cutting through things, wanting justice. And because this is in reverse as well, we've got the two of these both in reverse. It doesn't feel as though there's an awful lot of justice happening in our lives at this present time. But what came through, interestingly for me, with this Justice card as well, I'll focus a bit more on the Fool card in a minute, is I kind of feel today I'm being drawn to this circle. I don't know if you can see it very well. Being drawn to this circle, and it kind of looks like there's something happening behind the circle, like from her wings out here. There's kind of like a shadow energy there that I can see behind these wings. And also interestingly as well, I've never noticed this before, but it came through quite strongly, was this ankh type symbol, which is very interesting as well, because the original Justice is kind of known from the Egyptian god Thoth, or Thoth. It depends how you prefer to pronounce it. But he was the god of the weighing up the souls against the feather, which is kind of what I'm seeing with this card today, really, really clearly. And Thoth is also said to be the Mercury energy as well. So for me, that connection has kind of been made even stronger today. It's the first time I've ever seen that ankh, but it really does stick out for me very clearly. Whoops, upside down. When I turn it up that way, the shadow from the sword behind on her dress is making this ankh in this ribbon. Because I was looking at the ribbon and I was thinking, what is that about? Why is that there? Why would you have that gold ribbon kind of spiraling down in front of the dress? And then it kind of jumped out at me. So there is this element of, I feel with the Justice card here for me today, there's also this element that there's something with within the shadows here, Like there's something that's happening behind the scenes that we're yet to discover. And as Neptune is retrograde and as Venus is moving through Gemini, there's this kind of feeling of we are yet to come to a kind of higher conscious awareness of things. Maybe we're still not quite ready to take that leap of faith into something new for us. And interestingly as well, the kind of the wings thing here as well with the feather of truth and the sword. But it was a feather, and in the good tarot as well, interestingly, it's feathers that are represented for the swords energy. So the feather is kind of all about the, you know, the lightness of your soul. Your soul was balanced up against a feather, and for those that passed, they were pure of heart, basically. And there is a lot going on in the world at this time when it comes to realization of things that aren't quite so pure, shall we say. And the justice system that has been maybe out of balance as well. I would say there's no maybe about it. It has been out of balance and is very much out of balance. So that's the energy that I'm picking up here today for these, for the kind of overall flavour, if you like, or the overall understanding. So let's see what we have at the heart of this reading today for the Neptune. Retrograde, Venus station in direct energy. What do we have? Where are we? Where are we at? Neptune retrograde, Venus direct. Or Venus station in direct. Where's the message here for the collective today? What is the message for the collective? I do get this feeling of us kind of being at a point with the Fool in reverse. That we're not necessarily hearing that higher octave yet, because he is kind of, for me, playing this instrument here, which is giving out these kind of light. It's kind of like a really kind of higher frequencies, how I'm seeing it come through. This higher frequency, but at the moment there's just, it's like everything is so upside down and messy, and the world is so kind of strange in many ways, for want of a better word. It is all very strange and kind of very kind of, yeah, very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like it hasn't evolved beyond where it's been yet. We haven't kind of started down this path as such, even though we have. It's like the path is there. It's already laid out in some ways, but we're kind of tentatively wondering how we're going to go about going down this new path. Because it is about trusting. But there's also something for me today coming through about this angel here. Because she is also an angel here as well. So there's something about these kind of these two angel energies. And her wings are kind of, they're like glowing light. It's almost like, you know, almost like they don't really exist and yet they do. A bit like a whole dress in many ways. It's almost like seeing something that has just kind of like materialized out of nowhere, out of the blue. And we're kind of not believing it. It's almost kind of like it's unbelievable. And I'm kind of getting disclosure from this, and it's kind of like something that's, I feel strongly is going to be taking place over these next 6 months and into the following years to come. And it is going to take us down a completely different path, and it is going to make people kind of really take another look at, you know, at everything. Everything that we've been told is true, and everything that we've been led to believe in many ways, which is why also I feel that there's this stuff going on behind here, behind the scenes here. That it's being blocked, like there's a blockage here. But it's kind of trying to come through. Like there's something trying to come through here. Trying to make us aware of something. But because it is so strange or odd or weird or unfamiliar, there's a difficulty with us actually accepting that that's what it is. So we have the Prince of Swords who's come out for the heart of the reading. And as I say that, I notice again that he has his sword on his heart as well, which kind of reminds me of this sword here, this sword of truth. The sword does represent truth, it represents intellect, it represents mind. But it's a prince, so it's young energy, it's like page energy, it's an energy that's just kind of, in many ways, an energy that's learning about itself. It's learning, it's the early kind of inquisitiveness about things, like curiosity, wanting to see a bigger picture, wanting to understand more. So it can also be an energy of being very impatient, but it's not in reverse. So I'm getting more of a sense of it being an energy of inquisitiveness. And also because of the crown on his head as well, which I've never really taken much notice of before, but today it's kind of looking at me. This crown on his head, which I presume has got like a cobra, because again it's a very Egyptian energy here. And I do believe it kind of, the cobra was representative of the third eye opening. So maybe it's also saying that we need to stop like judging things just by what we can see and actually kind of use our inner knowing. And to kind of trust our inner knowing, trust our third eye energy. That's what's kind of coming through for me here today. With his sword kind of clutched to his chest as well, I feel as though it's kind of, he's saying, you know, I don't want to use this. I don't want to use this for, as a weapon, as a tool, like as a weapon of destruction. It's dear to my heart. because it represents something like it can also be seen as kind of like a laser beam as well, like from the mind, like really kind of seeing things, cutting through things. But it is a young energy, so it's an energy that's needing to mature. It's an energy that we're needing to kind of, maybe it is something to do with trusting this as well, like as things change and maybe as we become more open to our third eye energy, activations that are happening across the planet as well. And also possibly as that happens, we will start to see things that normally we wouldn't see quite as easily. And that could bring up a lot of questioning as well, a lot of kind of, you know, is that real? Is that real? Did I actually see that? So it could also bring up a lot of kind of, you know, childlike disbelief in many ways. I feel it's that kind of in-between energy of knowing and believing the knowing as well, with the full here as well, in reverse. And kind of energy of like not believing something, not believing what you know, it's like that saying, I'll believe it if I see it. And it's kind of saying, right, okay, well, you know, now you've got another way of seeing things. Do you believe it? Or do you believe what you're seeing is actually there? But it has got over it as our obstacle, the Three of Cups energy here. So I kind of see this as it is a celebratory card, but it's the obstacle. It's the thing that we need to get over in the sense of coming together and celebrating our uniqueness as well as our differences is what I'm kind of feeling today. That our differences are just as important as our differences, but it's a state of bringing it all together. And at what's happening today in the world, there's a lot of separatism and a lot of kind of disunity, which has got a lot to do with the fact that Pluto and Eris, who's all about disunity and disharmony, who was known as the planet of, or the goddess of discord, is literally squaring over to Pluto, Lord of the Underworld. So at the moment it's very difficult for us to come together and celebrate our differences because we're being challenged. This is our challenge. Our challenge is to kind of see the unity. To see the unity in everything. Because it kind of looks like there's a marriage going on there as well. I thought it was three women, but it isn't. There's a man in the background there. So it looks like there's a king and a queen possibly getting married here, and there's a third person who's celebrating with them. So it kind of feels to me as though our differences and our uniqueness in many ways is kind of being, I think, blocked as well. What's in our head and what we're aware of with the Ace of Cups energy here is there is something new coming in here. There is something changing. There is a new energy coming in, a new opportunity for us to grow. But again, it's in reverse. So again, there's this kind of reluctance here. This kind of, again, I get this kind of feeling of disbelief about all of this. Disbelief and not being able to trust even what we're seeing with our own eyes as well. Neptune is the planet of the higher energy of love, compassion, unconditional love, as I was saying, but she's also the planet of mysteriousness and confusion, and like I was saying, like no boundaries, so things can get kind of very foggy, very kind of what's the word I'm looking for here, very ungrounded in many ways, very kind of like no solidness to things, like things just becoming kind of, they just seem like unreal, because Neptune also relates to drugs and addictions, and I kind of see her as a kind of, you know, hallucinatory kind of, like when you're in that ill state of being and you're kind of drifting in and out of that state and you're kind of having these weird dreams and things. It's kind of, that's very much Neptune energy. And I think that's kind of what we're all in at the moment. It's like, you know, is this a bad dream that we're all living through? But it is also an opportunity of growth. But because it is upside down, like I was saying, it's something that is still kind of manifesting. It's still kind of in the process of becoming. It's interesting because I'm seeing today all these little yellow blobs on here as being this pentacle here, like lots of them, lots of tiny little pentacles all over this tree. But it almost feels as though it's kind of again, I'm getting this kind of feeling of like this is the top of the tree at the moment. It's like everything is upside down, literally, and this is the tree, and this is all the roots underneath, and this is all the hidden, again, like I'm getting a feeling with the same card here, this kind of hidden things that are hidden from us at this moment in time. And it's like jewels, or it's like different aspects of ourselves, or yeah, different parts of ourselves that we're kind of yet to acknowledge within us, understand, realize that we have them. It's interesting as well because I'm just seeing these dragonflies buzzing around here. They look to me like two dragonflies in opposite kind of corners here. And dragonflies in the Native American mythology kind of relate to illusion and illusions. So it could also be that we're kind of seeing through what we thought we were supposed to see as being of value to us as well, that our values are shifting. I still see that as kind of this upside down tree, and all of this is underneath. This is all the root energy. This is what's yet to kind of be revealed. Is what I'm getting. This is what's in our head at this moment in time. So it's kind of almost like it's saying to me that we are aware on some deeper level, but there is more to this than meets the eye again. And that there are things happening on a deeper level as well, like on the world stage, as well as individually in our lives as well. There could also be a lot of uncertainty around what we thought we valued, and the questioning, especially with Venus having gone retrograde as well, because Venus does also relate to our values, how we value something, why we value it. Okay. So there's quite a few cards come out. The Two of Swords, this is the energy we've been working with, but what's moving away. The Two of Swords in reverse is saying to me that there's this like this situation where we are blind to it. We're also not only blind to it, but it's almost like because we're blind to it, we can't do anything about it. It kind of relates to this justice energy for me here as well. Two Swords, again being this Gemini energy. And also the kind of the fact that she can't see anything is kind of like blind justice for me today. This energy of not being able to see your future, see what's coming, see where we're going. And we don't understand why it's happening as well. There's also an element of that there as well. Sorry for any of the noise in the background. That's my daughter and her friend that have just come back in. So I apologise if that's annoying at all. It's just my daughter and her friend, as I was saying. So the Two is also about, well, it's also about harmony and balance in many ways as well. Again, two sides of things, seeing two sides of things, and because we're blindfolded here, we're having to go within to find our answers, to find our, and it kind of relates to these wings for me today as well. Again, the swords are the wings, the feathers, they're kind of weighing up of our karma, if you like. That's kind of what I'm getting actually quite strongly. That's just come through quite strongly to me, the weighing up of our karma collectively. Okay, I've just got a real strong ringing in my head then. Yeah. Again, going back to the Egyptian Thoth kind of scales feather, weighing up the feather against the pure soul. So that's interesting. And we also have the Seven of Cups that's come out with this as well, in reverse again. So there is a lot of kind of confusion around at the moment, a lot of not knowing, a lot of deeper kind of again, blindfold and sleeping. It's almost like we're stumbling about in the dark somehow. We're stumbling about trying to find answers, but there's also this kind of need to be still and just kind of allow, I feel, with these two cards coming out here in reverse. Almost like being at a crossroads for something, and we really do have to kind of go within and really make some important decisions at this time about our lives individually and collectively, about where we're heading. because it is almost like we're at a crossroads, and it does kind of feel to me as well with these two swords that it's kind of also kind of splitting timelines in a way, or splitting like the division. And we need to be aware of what it is that we're hoping for or wanting. There's all this, which is kind of the delusion, if you like. The delusion of it all, the kind of belief in all of this stuff here, that it's going to make us happy and it's going to give us what we need. This 6 cups here. And then this 7th cup here is kind of, for me, it's the prize. It's kind of like, you know, it's the hidden quality here. And because it's also at the top as well, it could also relate again to this kind of third eye energy. Something is covered as well here. Something isn't being revealed yet, which is going to make a huge difference when it does get revealed. And we also have 6 of Pentacles as well. So we've got these 2 in reverse, and then we've got the 6 of Pentacles upright. So the 6 of Pentacles is about balance again. It is about balance. It's about give and take. It's about our giving and receiving. Receiving as much as we give, and give as much as we're receiving. And so there could be a wanting a sense of fairness here as well, because we do have this card again in reverse. So the 6 of Pentacles could also somehow for me relate to these 6 of Cups as well, which I was just talking about here. Like each one of them being something that we believe is going to make us happy, or not all of them are going to make us happy, because some of them aren't going to make us happy, but they're choices that we make that kind of can take us to places we don't necessarily want to go. And this 6 here kind of is for me relating to these 6 here. And it's kind of saying, you know, be careful. Be careful where you put your energy. Be careful where you put your time and your effort. Because not everything is going to be rewarding. And we have the Prince of Cups come out with this as well. Again, a young energy, an energy of just kind of learning to take care of ourselves, learning to put ourselves first in many ways as well, which could also have something to do with this 6 of Pentacles here, because a lot of the time we tend to particularly in relationships, there always seems to be this kind of one-sided energy where somebody will take more. And usually the person who gives more finds it very difficult to receive. And so they will just give and give and give until they kind of get worn out and worn down. But I'm getting the feeling this is to do with our kind of work system as well. This is to do with things changing within the work system, within our need to stop having this kind of imbalance within the kind of material world or the physical world. It's a very physical card, the Six of Pentacles, Pentacles being the physical realm. And I'm also getting this sense of this feminine energy here as well, because all three of these are females. And it's almost like a sense of imbalance within the masculine and the feminine energies here as well, which could have something to do with this Mars energy, the Mars moving back into Aries. Because Mars is to do with our drive, our dynamic energy, where we put our energy. It just feels like a kind of sense of things not being balanced in our... Even though it's upright, it's kind of saying to me there's questions around all of this. It's questioning our own give and take, our own, it's like there's the energy, the being balanced and fair, and again, like, the Justice card coming out earlier, balance and this fairness needing to be reworked in some ways. And also giving to ourselves first, because until we can give to ourselves first, we can't really ultimately give to others. So this is also what this card here for me is saying with this Prince of Cups here. Page energy, young energy, Prince or Cups in itself is the emotions, it's sensitivity, it's kind of looking for or realizing that love is important, but it's also important to kind of look after yourself and nurture yourself. And this energy can often be after a time of where we've had a lot of, I tend to think of it a bit like a wounded animal. This energy is kind of after the retreating away from something that's been painful and hurtful. It's that kind of early tentative steps back out of the, like a bear coming out of a cave, or a wounded animal that's been kind of in one spot healing itself for a while. There's a kind of healing energy around this card. And it is a young, if you look at him, he's very youthful, he's very gentle. He looks like a really gentle soul. He's carrying this cup because he wants to find, I feel, again, it's got something to do with this here. He wants to find like a higher form of love here. So it's more the kind of Neptunian love. It's more the kind of sense of compassion and unconditional love here that's been missing, because it's up till now, it's all kind of been about give and take in a very kind of, you give to me, I give back to you kind of sense of fairness and equality. But at the same time, it's not there. It's like there's a purity missing from it. That's kind of what I'm sensing again, is this kind of need for some kind of purity here. It needs to come from the right place. The actions themselves need to come from the right place in order for things to be balanced. So that's the energy that we've been working with, that's moving away. We're still kind of in that energy, and I feel that we are kind of in that energy, coming out of that energy of healing, looking after ourselves, allowing ourselves to kind of re-emerge back out of our shells in many ways, out of our homes. And there's been a lot of kind of changes that have occurred during that period of time as well. Could also have a lot to do with the Fool energy at the start, where it's kind of saying, you know, what do you trust? What do you believe? As you start off down this path again, because this 6 months that are coming up now are going to be very different from the 6 months that we've just lived through. The energies are shifting so much. Just with Mars moving into Aries, there's going to be a huge shift of energy, and Mars isn't going to go retrograde right up until, I think it's August, possibly even September, that he begins his retrograde. So, the Sun. Underneath it all, we have the Sun, which is a lovely energy, because it's saying that on some deeper level we do know that we have this connection, and that's kind of what I'm feeling here with these three here. We know that there is this deeper connection, that there is this, like everything is connected, and it's kind of this realization. Again, like our differences, our uniqueness, that's what I'm getting here as well. Celebrating our uniqueness and our differences. This is the subconscious, so this is the kind of, this is our really deep, this is our, almost like our conscious awareness, like our mass conscious awareness is what I'm kind of feeling from this here. And then we're all kind of getting a lot more clarity, getting a lot more insight, a lot more awakening from what's gone on recently. There has been a shift of energy, a shift of awakening. Something has occurred here. And because it's the Sun, it's huge. It's really big energy. And it's kind of interesting because it looks like it's over the top of this gate as well. And for the Fool card, there's a kind of similar, if you look here, around this energy of the fairy or the angel, there is this kind of archway, which kind of goes like that. It's very faint. Hopefully you can see it. But if you look on this card here, the green, all of this, it looks to me like a very ornate gate behind here, and it has a very similar feel about it. Gateways, of course, being the ending of something and moving into something new. And it almost feels as well as though, because it's in the subconscious, it's like it was happening and we all kind of knew it on a deeper level, but we weren't quite aware of it in a conscious level. So it's almost like waiting for these gates to open for the right timing, for the gates to kind of open up and say, right, now you can step forward, now you can move into your new future, which I feel is what the Fool card is about as well. He's kind of holding it back still, holding it back. But there is this kind of, I feel it as a kind of awakening. I feel it as a kind of realizing things are different energy. But the energy itself has shifted on the planet, as well as like outer energy as well, like the energy that the sun is actually giving out has changed and shifted as well. So we have, oh interesting, we have two very powerful cards here. We have the first card, which I see first, is the Chariot. And the energy of the Chariot, upright, so it's all about us beginning to move forward. It's all about being in control. It's all about taking the reins of our life and saying, right, okay, this is me in the driving seat. This is my life. I can do this. I can take this responsibly. I can take control, take a new path. Is kind of what I'm feeling. Take a new path, divert off some of the old one onto a new one. It is power. It is the Chariot. Actually, no, it's not the Chariot. Okay, that's interesting. It's not the Chariot. I'll take that back. It's actually the Emperor, but it's pretty much kind of the same thing. It's about taking control, because the Emperor is the leader. He has, like if you see here, he has the reins in his hands. Which is kind of why I see it as the Chariot. It's kind of come through to me as the Chariot rather than the Emperor, but I can see both actually within this card. But the Emperor, when it's upright, is very powerful. It's a very powerful energy. It's a very driving energy. This could literally be the Aries energy actually. Moving into moving into Aries, and things are really starting to shift, things really starting to move forward, things really starting to change. And we have literally over the top of this energy this card here, which is all about transformation. This is all about deeper change as well. It's in reverse, so for me it's saying that there is this long, almost like long painful birth. She almost looks like she's giving birth here, like she looks like she's in a bed, and she looks to me like she's kind of going through this transformation. But it also looks like she's giving birth. I'm just going to take my glasses off for a minute. Yeah, and she looks like she's calling in kind of help as well for this transformation. She looks like she's calling in kind of some spirit friends or spirit guides. Like here it's a cow. I don't know if you can see that next to her head. It's actually a cow. It's very difficult to see it. It's got its nose. It could even be a dragon, actually, looking at it now. Maybe it is a dragon. Maybe it is a dragon, which is very much to do with transformation as well. Dragons, that's, I think, actually what it is. It's a dragon, and dragons are kind of elemental spirits. They're kind of creatures of strength and, you know, dragons got your back. And dragons are symbolic of like the universe as well in many ways, especially in like Asian countries where there's a lot of dragon symbology. The dragon kind of represents the elemental energies. And of course, you know, on a larger scale, it's the elemental energies that cause transformation, particularly when it comes to planets as well. So this card is actually the card of death, being transformation. It is the card of death. So, but for me, it does also kind of look to me as though she's bringing in something new, birthing something new. But it's a long, drawn-out process because it's in reverse. But there is this sense of power here. And allowing the transformation to happen, allowing it to take place, allowing ourselves to, in many ways, give birth to ourselves. Is what I'm kind of feeling here. Transformation, it's like you rebirth yourself. The energy of Scorpio and Pluto is rebirthing ourselves. Birth, death, rebirth. Which again can be very Neptunian energy as well. And because it's the 12th house, it's the very final ending here. It's kind of like, for me, it's that sense of when you get to the end of your life and you kind of surrender everything that you have been and you become born into being something else. This is kind of saying to me that, you know, this happens all our lives. We do this all our lives. We go through these stages, but we don't necessarily recognise them either, which kind of takes me back also to the things that are going on behind the scenes. The energy behind the scene that we are not yet fully aware of, that is going to bring in huge transformation. Which may not be easy for us to accept either, I feel, with it in reverse. We may have some problems trying to accept these changes. And I think we have to be careful that there is a balance of power here. We have to be careful that we're not just allowed, or we're just not kind of overpowered in some ways. So I'm going to use the Abraham Hicks, my hair looks a complete mess, the Abraham Hicks card here, oops, for confirmation cards. And so at the very heart of the reading here, we have, my slightest improvement is of such great value. And it says, there is tremendous value when you're able to deliberately cause even the slightest improvement in the way you feel. For even in that small emotional improvement, you may have regained a measure of control. You no longer feel powerless, and so your trek back up the emotional scale is now not only possible, but it is relatively easy. That's quite interesting because it kind of relates to this card here as well. Our need for taking control of our emotional state as well. our emotional being. Maybe this is also something to do with this card as well, as transformation. It is a very emotional time. Not to maybe allow our emotions to overrun us, override us. So it's come out over the top of these two energies here, which I was saying earlier was this kind of energy of needing to celebrate our differences and our uniqueness rather than kind of allowing it to separate us. So it kind of makes sense to me. You no longer feel powerless. And that's us kind of trekking back up the emotional hill, if you like. Having been kind of down the bottom and kind of trying to get back up to the top. And sometimes we can only do it in little steps. So let's see what we have for... So these cards are the Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks, and the entity that is channeled, known as Abraham Hicks. And if you don't know who that is, I would suggest you go and look it up online. There is a lot of information about Abraham and Esther and Jerry Hicks on the YouTube channel. So let's see what is our challenge here for this energy. What is the challenge here? Sorry if you can hear that. The dog's barking outside. Sounds very hot and bothered. It's a really hot day today. Incredibly hot day. So what is the energy, or what do we need to realise is our blockage? What is our blockage here for the collective, for this Neptune? Neptune retrograde and Venus direct reading. I am in the perfect position to get there from here. It says nothing has to change in your environment or in the circumstances that surround you for you to begin to deliberately allow your own connection to the stream of well-being. You are in the perfect place right now to begin. And that's our challenge. So that's interesting because that's something that we don't realise. We don't realise, and we're always trying to get somewhere else in order to be able to do it, to kind of put out this vibration that's going to bring in what we need. That's kind of generalising it. It involves more than that in some ways. But it is all about frequency and vibration and what we're putting out there, particularly on a large scale as well at this moment in time. And it comes back to my two kind of favourite, the dualistic. It's like, where we're placing our thoughts with our minds. That could also have something to do with this energy here as well. And this Prince energy. Because our minds here are young and they're still being kind of opened to things. So in that opening to things, we could also be kind of fearful, holding ourselves back. And of course, fear is the thing that brings in disharmony and disunity and separation. So it's all about the frequency. It's all about where we vibrate from. So this is what this is saying to me in particular. is that we have to realise that we are in the perfect place in order to manifest what it is that we need. And that we don't have to be kind of like, oh, you know, when I get there, I will, kind of, then it will all be okay. It's like, no, it has to be all okay now in order for it to get there. Again, that's very kind of generalisation. Kind of quick summary. Okay. In our heads, and what we're aware of is absolute well-being is the basis of my universe. So the well-being is the basis of all that is. It flows to you and through you. You only have to allow it. Like the air you breathe, you only have to open, relax, and draw it into your being. And that's over the top of this Pentacles that's in reverse here as well. So it's interesting because this is, like I was saying, an opportunity that's kind of in reverse here, an opportunity that we're not necessarily aware of or seeing. I also get the feeling of things that are kind of undercover here. So, and this is talking about the well-being is the basis of all that is. It's kind of, again, that frequency. You have to be, or you have to allow yourself to be in the right frequency, because otherwise you're going to block it. It's there. It's like it's saying it's there. It's already there and waiting. But until you kind of allow it, by being in that, or we do collectively as well, allow it and feel this is something that has been kind of kept hidden from us. Again, this energy of things being kept in the background. Because what this energy here, Abraham and Esther and Jerry, what they're bringing forward into this new time, if you like, and have been kind of bringing forward for quite a few years now, is something that is kind of one of the laws of the universe, literally. And it has been spoken about by other people as well, kind of in the secret, and this magnetic energy of like push and pulling, kind of vibration. Depending on our vibration, that will kind of keep things away and blocked. And if our vibration is higher and we're living from a higher, again, the Neptunian energy of kind of this higher octave of love, unconditional love, then we're going to kind of magnetize these things into our life as well. You only have to allow it, like the air you breathe, and you only have to open, relax, and draw it into your being, is what it's saying. And what I'm kind of saying is that this is something, this new message is a message that has been there forever. It is what it is. It always has been. It's just that it's been kind of concealed or denied. Yeah, kind of literally kept hidden from us for personal gain, shall we say, for others. Yeah, but it's been known. It's not something that's just arrived on this planet, so to speak. It's something, it is the law of the universe. It's one of the laws of the universe. And we, as a race, need to wake up and realise this is a law of the universe. So the energy that's moving away, what we've been dealing with all of this energy here, we have this card here which is saying, I am becoming consciously aware of my inner being. So we refer to the non-physical you as your inner being or your source. It is not important that you call that source of energy or life force, but it is important that you are consciously aware of when you are allowing a full connection to it and when you are restricting it in some way. So that's interesting because it's come out with all of this as well. So it kind of says to me, this is our learning process, if you like, of what we're kind of realizing, coming to an understanding of our inner being being our emotions, really, our inner being being our kind of, you know, how we respond and react to something. That vibrational frequency is our inner being, and that we are becoming more aware of that energy within us. Again, Neptune. Neptune consciousness, the bigger consciousness of who we are, which in many ways has been taken and kind of, how can you put it, shrunk down in many ways, I feel, to things like religion, and kind of by doing that it's been able to be controlled. So in our deeper consciousness, and over the top of the Sun card, we have, what if Source was standing in my physical shoes? And it says, it is not your job to make something happen. Your work is to simply determine what you want. If we were standing in your physical shoes, our attention would be upon bringing ourselves into alignment with the desires and preferences that we have launched. We would consciously feel our way into alignment. Which is kind of what I was saying about this awakening energy here. I feel as though this shift, there has been this shift, this awakening, and that we are becoming more in alignment, and realizing that Source, there is no separation from Source energy. And that's part of the problem, that we have separated ourselves, and we're still separating ourselves. As I was saying here, we're still kind of separating ourselves from this awareness that we are everything and everything is us, kind of understanding on a deeper level that Source is already standing in our physical shoes, because we are it and it is us. And there is a shift of understanding more and more taking place on this planet towards this fact. So let's see, what do we have as a last card here from Abraham. Only I know what is appropriate for me. Which goes really quite nicely with this power, taking the reins in your own hands here. Using your power wisely. So it's not always about kind of an outer expression of it. So when you remember that everyone who asks is given, then how wonderful and appropriate it is for you to make the choices for you. For the universe operates much more efficiently without a middleman interceding on your behalf. You always know in the moment what is best for you. And I would go along with that completely. I do not like middlemen. Never have. Okay, so let's just have a quick namaste blessing, and then I will finish off this reading. This Neptune retrograde. And true to Neptune's style, it's all been a bit weird and wacky. But I thought I would do something a bit different. And we got the card of infinite blessing. Blessings flow to and from you endlessly, expanding in all directions, filling you with a healing light that guides you upon your blessed path. Rainbow light flows from your heart, creating infinite peace. So this is our beginning of this path, I feel. And we're kind of, it's a totally different path. It's one that we've never taken before. One that we are yet to tread. So that's a beautiful card to end on. The infinite blessing. Blessings flow to and from you endlessly, expanding in all directions, filling you with a healing light that guides you upon your blessed path. Rainbow light flows from your heart, creating infinite peace. And that's where we're kind of trying to get to, I feel. So on that note, I'm going to finish this reading and say I hope that you have enjoyed it. I hope that you've got something from it. As weird and wacky as it is, I do feel as though there is huge transformation taking place at this moment on this planet, and that we are receiving guidance and help with it as well. So it's not as nightmarish as it may appear. Underneath, there is a lot taking place behind the scenes. There's a lot happening that is going to work ultimately in our benefit, in this mass change that we are all heading towards together collectively, down the same birthing into something new. So with that, again, here I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. If you have liked my video, please could you thumbs it up for me, like it, get it out into the bigger algorithmic stage so that YouTube can pick it up and put it out there into the bigger world stage, and then people can come back to my channel and subscribe. Thank you very much to anybody who has subscribed to my channel recently or previously further back. I do appreciate all of you, I really do, because it is really helping me to grow my channel and get the messages out there which are being brought to me. So as weird and wacky as they may be, there is a higher a higher energy involved here, shall we say. So please also tap the bell if you want to get any future readings. As and when I put them out, I do new moon and full moon readings, and I also do like the changes of the planets as well, if they move into one sign or another, if I think it's going to be relevant. Normally the bigger planets, not so much the kind of more personal planets. So with that being said, I'm going to wish you all the best, and please take really good care of yourselves at this time. Please take really good care of anybody around you who you can take good care of, and hopefully I will see you again sometime soon.